right, welcome everyone. Thank you, Cardi B, for the introduction. This is Borderlands 1 Game of the Year Enhanced Edition. It is the 2019 re-release of the 2009 version of the game. There are a ton of differences between the enhanced version and the original version, which we'll go through throughout the course of the run. We're going to be running the unrestricted category, which has some specifics that we'll get to whenever we get to those parts of the run. Essentially, it's any %, so we're going to try and beat the game as fast as possible. Last bit of housekeeping beforehand, we're going to be playing as Lilith the Siren. She is incredibly broken and really fast. So we'll see more of her as we get into the run. So I'll give a quick introduction to my commentators. I'm zzrules21, and with me I have...
Hi, I'm UnjustAction.
Hello, I am Deceptix.
Hi, I'm Amerlin.
All right, so we should be all set to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. So as per usual, for actually all Borderlands games in the series, we have a quick little introduction. We have to wait for Claptrap to welcome us to the world that we're in. This has been a staple throughout the series since this first edition. So while we're waiting for Claptrap, we're actually going to give a bit of a rundown. We're using a pre-made save file for this run. This save file starts with 2 very specific weapons. The Enhanced Edition, you start with 2 Gearbox manufactured weapons that are really strong. We use 2 in particular. One is going to be the Silent Night Sniper, which we're going to use for the entire run, and then the other is going to be TK Baja's Bigger Blaster, which is just going to be a really good shooting shotgun. So we'll get to that a little bit later, why we're using these specific weapons. So as soon as I get control of my character, I'm going to open my inventory and equip these weapons, and more importantly, lock them to my inventory. This was a quality of life feature that Gearbox implemented with this enhanced version to make it so that you can't accidentally lose your really strong weapons, which is a really good quality of life feature, but it is very broken for a couple of reasons. Immediately, we are going to break the game by if you try to drop a lock weapon, it just kind of disappears from your backpack. You can do one of 2 things. You can reselect the same weapon, and we have to activate this for Clap just really quick. There we are. So if you reselect the weapon after you drop it, you can automatically reload it, like I just did with the sniper right there. Or if you drop it and swap to a different weapon, you can actually transfer those stats of one weapon onto a different weapon. So the implicit stat of this sniper is you get an extra 800% critical hit damage, which is insane. So now if I drop it and swap to the shotgun, now my shotgun has an extra 800% critical hit damage. This is called weapon merging, and it's been a staple in the series in the speedrun sense, in pretty much every game in the series so far. And we're going to be abusing that a ton throughout the course of the run. So there are a couple of triggers that we have to hit for Claptrap. We can't do anything to speed this part up. This is all scripted intro stuff, so we just kind of wait around, grab some loot, while we wait for this mini cutscene to play. I'm going to stay on top of here. There's going to be an enemy that spawns that I'm going to shoot right away just to speed things up a little bit later. And then we're going to head back and do the first intro fight. So 2.5 minutes in the run and we finally get some combat. There are 6 enemies, 7 enemies that we have to kill. They have very set spawns. We just have to kill them as fast as possible. So we kill the 6 enemies and some more waiting for Claptrap. So actually, if you want to do a quick donation while we wait for Claptrap even more.
I've got you covered. We've got $100 from Fun Cannon. Anytime I see a Borderlands run at GDQ, it makes my heart soar. Good luck, ZZ, and it makes me happy to see you representing this game and community.
Aw, thanks, FC. So we have to stand pretty much in Claptrap's model for the trigger to be active to progress to the next section. So there are a lot of this early game, you're gonna see me in Claptrap, not for no reason, just to progress his trigger. This is just the intro tutorial section of here's how you jump, here's how you crouch, stuff like that. So pretty straightforward, that we speed up really quickly just by having played this game a lot. So, a couple more enemies we have to kill. And there we are. So one last trigger, we have to wait for Claptrap.
Now go. I'll contact you again soon.
And and here, right here. And he's introducing the citizens of Firestone to us, the new Vault Hunter that's arrived. The whole, I guess, story, I say in quotation marks. Borderlands isn't really known for their crawling stories, but the main story of this is we've arrived on Pandora to hunt down a vault, a mythical vault that people don't think may or may not exist. So we meet Dr. Zed. He's the doctor, controls the med benders, and we're going to save quit, which is going to skip a little bit of dialogue. We're going to be save quitting a ton throughout the run for various reasons, skipping dialogue, warping to different areas to be faster, various different reasons. So we're going to meet the doctor, Dr. Zed, and you're going to run into, we're going to see something. There's a bit of an issue with this game on release. There's a little bit of a memory leak, and it's caused by all of the cutscenes and video files are loaded in memory and then never unloaded. So a way that we can fix that is by just playing with the no movie startup option, which turns all the cutscenes into that yellow and red flashing. So all the cutscenes are going to look like that for the course of the run. All right, and then we're supposed to go through a little bit of a Claptrap repair sort of thing. In typical Claptrap fashion, he's going to get injured and we have to fix him. But instead, we're going to go a little out of order. Right now, we're kind of contained to Firestone, but we can do this really precise jump. A little, she's getting, there we are. This precise jump to get out of, yeah. That's much more difficult and much more precise than it looks. But do this jump to get out of Firestone initially, and we're going to kill these skags, which is there's 2 story quests going on right now. One is kill skags to progress Zed's part of the story, and one is deal with Claptrap as that second part of the story. You're supposed to do Claptrap first, but they're not locked. It's like the one time in the Borderlands series that we can do stuff out of order, which is kind of interesting. So we're completing Zed's, and that unlocks the fast travel station, which is imperative for this version of the run. We're going to head to T-Bone Junction. T-Bone Junction is one of the DLC areas in the game, and you're supposed to do this area after you finish the story. So the DLC is scaled to your level at the end of the story. So this is like a level 30 area. We're not meant to complete anything in here. All we're doing is looting a couple chests in this area because we need a lot of money. So
in this game, there's challenges you can do at any time, which are a lot of the time they're basic things like get a certain number of headshots and things like that. One of them is sell a certain amount of money, and so if you come here to grab a bunch of items and you sell them, and then what we're going to do is ZZ is going to sell all these items and then use them to buy a whole bunch of medkits. And if he buys a bunch of medkits and then sells them back, he'll be able to complete one of the challenges, which is selling items. You have to sell about 1,200 items to do this. And once you sell all the items, then you can buy back the last item you sell, and the game will untick the challenge. And then if you save quit, load back in, and sell another item, you can recomplete the challenge. And every time you do this, it'll give you XP. And this gives you quite a substantial amount of XP, because there's like 5 tiers to the challenge, and the 5th tier will give you a whole bunch.
20,000 XP, which at this point in the game, it will give us 7 levels. And we can keep completing this. This is going to be our XP farming for the entire run.
So typically in Borderlands, in the non-enhanced version, the non-remastered version of this game, there's a lot of XP farming throughout the any % route, just because you're quite underleveled, and being underleveled in this game is quite unforgiving. And so this just kind of mitigates all of that and speeds the run up quite significantly.
Yep. So we need to gather enough items to get $144,000. So you'll see every time I pick up an item, I'm heading down to my phone, which I have my calculator pulled up so that we can see how much money we've collected, so that we know whenever we reach $144,000.
I was wondering why you were pausing so much.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Gotta do some calculations.
Got to do some quick maths. We're at 100,000 right now, so one more cycle through T-Bone Junction should be enough.
But yeah, continuing off what Unjust was saying, the original Borderlands 1 is like really unforgiving with its level scaling, and it's more unforgiving than BL2. Your damage tends to drop off really hard even after like 2 or 3 levels separate. So even in co-op, it's really difficult. You go down in just a couple shots.
Yeah, and that results in having to farm bosses for a lot of extra XP in order to avoid those that level scaling. So we replace all of those boss farming sections with just sell some health. Ooh, legendary.
Ooh.
It's not worth anything, so it doesn't really help us.
Not worth
You got
much
an
money.
equalizer, so-
No.
It doesn't help much, but so this last one should be enough. Should I have the... Yep, that's enough. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of...
Did they
Yeah, that was-
did they maintain the thing in enhanced where like the gun is better, or the more orange the name is, the better the gun is?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
There's still different colors of orange.
Makes sense. So what we did there is I just jumped off the cliff. If you've seen most of the save quits I've been doing, you have like a 3-second timer that you have to wait before save quitting, and then you have to go through, or before you actually quit to the menu, and then you have to go through a blue tunnel, and so that just makes save quits. Just go again. That means save quits take a lot longer than just death warping. So anytime we have a chance that we can death warp, we're just going to go for a death warp instead of trying to save quit. So we're going to pick up this coupling to repair the med vendor in Zeds, and this is where we get to do our our money farming. So this is where the unrestricted part of the run comes from as well. So we're going to sell our inventory, and then we're going to hit the F1 button, and my hands are off the keyboard. I am doing nothing here. Initially, this category was named scripted as a way of, we talked about we have to sell 1,200 items, but we have to buy 1,200 items too. So that means you have to mash enter 2,400 times per run that you do. And that's just not good for any runner's health. It's not good for any enjoyment. And it's kind of part of the reason why Enhanced Edition didn't get ran as much on release, because people saw how much mashing you had to do and just were entirely turned off from the run. So we came up with the scripted version to create auto hotkey scripts to do all of this mashing for us, just to save our runners' hands. And honestly, it's the reason why I'm running right now, because I, even before this category became a thing, I would only run this with auto-clicking and with scripts, because I just wasn't going to do that to my hands. So really happy that the community decided to put together this scripted, this unrestricted version to just make it more accessible for people to run without having to injure their hands just through all the mashing.
I can tell you from experience, it is not very fun to mash enter 2,400 times.
No, it is not.
Yeah,
per run.
no.
I could only do like one attempt a day, and at that point, it was still quite tiring. So this is a lot better overall.
Yep,
It's also really nice because, like the Borderlands, the non-enhanced version, like we said before, there's a lot of XP farming, and without that, the run would actually be like quite a lot of fun. And like this run has like all the fun parts about it without the XP farming, so it is a lot more fun simply because we can do this script.
Yeah. Or if there were glitches comparable to like BL2, then BL1 would be a lot like more feasible to not have to XP farm in.
And hey, look, we have glitches closer to BL2 in the enhanced. So it's what makes me really like the enhanced version is no XP farming. We have a scripted version that we can save our hands. So this takes about, I want to say 2.5 minutes or so with this version. We have a couple of versions of the script that do it in different ways, but I like this because I don't have to do anything. I can just hit the key and it'll automatically complete it for us. I think we're just about close to having it finished.
I love the constant chain of the buying and selling noise.
Oh, it haunts my nightmares.
And again, this is just to complete a challenge, which will give us XP, which we'll be using throughout the entirety of the run.
So there we are, it finished. Bought our shield and turned in the quest, and I'll actually show the mission. So we're at 1199, but we're at level 11 now from completing that quest. So we're gonna spec into a couple skills and move on with the claptrap part of the story that we skipped a little bit earlier. We're doing things entirely out of order from what Gearbox intended for us. So at this point, Zed's quest is to kill 8 bandits, and then Claptrap's fallen. So we need to kill bandits that have tried to attack him or something. And these bandits are counting for that story part. So it's saving kills that we have to do, which is really, really nice. In which case we go to this camp, which is where we're supposed to kill 8 bandits. We only really need to kill 4. So we kill 4.
Would you kindly give him a hand?
And then we get this quest from Angel, and then we can save quit.
Yeah, so typically you do all like the repairing the med vendor and everything after you would open the gate, and then all those bandits would attack Claptrap, and then you'd go to repair the vendor. But a little bit of a sequence break there.
One of the only
Which again
sequence
is like
breaks in the Borderlands series, which is wild.
Yeah,
So
it's so weird.
We can repair Claptrap, and then we'll head back to Zed. He's going to get up and open the gate for us so we can stop having to grenade jump over it. And you can see I just did the Merchant Death glitch again and got another 20,000 XP, which also made me level up and gave me my action skill back again. I'm going to be abusing that throughout most of the run. Any place that I can daisy chain to phase walks back to back and get level ups, it is going to just speed things up. Or just refresh my action skill, which we didn't mention. So the whole reason that we're using Lilith is every Vault Hunter has an action skill, which is their own special class perk. And Lilith's action skill is Phase Walk, which allows her to travel to a completely different dimension, be immune to all attacks, and have increased movement speed. And then she has a whole bunch of skills that just buff that Phase Walk as well. Compared to some of the other Vault Hunters, we have a turret, we have punching, and then we have a bird. So she's far and away just the best Vault Hunter when it comes to speedrunning. And oh, that was weird. Hello? What is happening in my game?
Interesting.
Has the Windows queue? Okay. We're good. Okay. Don't know what happened there. Yeah, she's far and away the best speedrunner when it comes to speedrunning Borderlands 1, or Vault Hunter when it comes to running Borderlands 1. The original version has
yeah.
the original version has a glitch with one of the other characters that makes him the fastest, but outside of that glitch, which isn't present in the enhanced, Lilith is the fastest. So we're just doing this for TK. Standard Borderlands fetch quest. Go to this area, pick this up. Go to this area, pick this up. Pretty straightforward. We're going to save quit just to teleport back to Firestone. And because we got grenades earlier than we were supposed to because of those chests in T-Bone Junction, this is the part where the game wants you to actually have grenades. So we're a little ahead of the game there. So get more XP, and okay, we got our second sniper, which is good. We're going to want 3 snipers throughout the course of the run. We start with the Silent Night sniper already. So about 1 there for my second sniper, and then at some point I'll want to keep an eye out for a 3rd sniper. Which, if you add it all up with all of the merging that we do, that's an extra 1200% XP, because base snipers give you 200%, and Silent Night gives 800. There's a specific sniper called the Gamble, which gives 250%, but it's not likely I'm going to get that. So after all, it's been about 20 minutes already or so, and we're finally going to get to the first boss. Granted, we took a little bit of a detour, but coming up, we're going to have our first boss, Nine Toes. He's a standard, typical Borderlands introduction boss. So we're going to enter Skag Gully, and I'm actually going to save quit immediately on entering Skag Gully. I mentioned earlier with the level ups from Merchant of Death, in that I'm going to try and get the Merchant of Death procs whenever I need a level up to get an action skill, to refresh an action skill, to daisy chain action skills together. And that's what I'm going to be doing it here. So I'm going to do a grenade jump initially because I want my phase walk to end at a certain spot. So I want it to end right here so that I can get a phase jump, which we didn't talk about earlier. If you jump on the last frame of your phase walk, then you can keep your momentum from the phase walk into that jump. To get this very consistently, I've jumped down to scroll wheel, mouse wheel down. So I have very guaranteed phase locks throughout the course of this. So get Merchant of Death there, and because I leveled up, I get my action skill back again so that I can use it to get to the end over here. And we have the first boss coming up.
There's one version of the game that lets you phase jump just by holding down space, but I genuinely don't remember which one it is.
You woke the wrong dog.
Or by holding down jump.
I don't know either. I don't know either. So this is the first boss, and if I can get my shot right. All right. Well, with all the extra crit, he doesn't take much. He just requires actually hitting your shots to take down.
You're also slightly over leveled.
I'm a little over leveled.
Only
little
slightly.
bit.
Yeah, like 13 levels over or something.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So one neat thing that was actually added in the enhanced edition as well is every area has a fast travel that you can travel to the DLC areas for. At this point, we're not supposed to have fast traveling unlocked yet. But if we travel to a DLC area, we need to be able to get out of the DLC area. So all the DLC areas have a travel to Firestone that we use to get back to Firestone faster occasionally. So we just killed 9 Toes for TK, and we're going to head back over him to turn in quest for him. And I think we have time for a quick donation.
Gotcha. We've got $50 from Voltage Viking. Hello, traveler. Love seeing my favorite game series being speedrun. Here's to an awesome AGDQ lineup. Thank you, Voltage Viking. And we have an anonymous $3,000 donation. Hachi Machi, thank you so much. They don't leave a comment, but thank you so much for that amazingly generous donation. Thank you so much.
All right. So at this point, we've been kind of doing everything around Firestone. There hasn't been too much travel that we've had to deal with. But we're going to start to need to travel a little bit. So here we introduce, I know, Amerlin's favorite character, Scooter. He's in charge of the catch-ride stations, the car stations, which we're going to be using very frequently to travel great distances. In typical Borderlands fashion, I can't hit a snipe today. In typical Borderlands fashion, the catch-ride stations are broken, and we need to repair them for the person. So Bonehead over here is another boss that has a repair module to repair the catch-ride station that we need to kill him and pick up the module. And then we can use cars again.
He's pretty infamously like a really difficult early boss.
Yeah, and especially in the original, he jumps in levels really quickly. Especially compared to what we've dealt with now. The idea is you're supposed to complete side quests. That's why they gave us the bounty board, so that we can do the side quests to level up. But there's an infamous strat of you can jump over that gate over there that I was looking at in the original version and get to a future catch ride station that's working, and then take the car, drive over him, and run him over with the car to kill him. So Scooter wants us to jump over Piswash Gully just to demonstrate what you can do with the runners. And then we can open this gate for easier passage so we don't have to jump that every time we want to travel anywhere. I think we have time for one more quick donation.
Got you covered. $50 from Gurnak. Always excited to see Borderlands at GDQ. Good luck with the run. Thank you, Gurnak.
All right. So now we need to... Here's where we start to kind of work towards the next big gatekeeping boss. And actually one of the first big jump that it takes in terms of the speedrun, in terms of true difficulty. And it's going to be Sledge. I don't know if he's been mentioned yet in the story, but Sledge is the next big boss, so we need to head to try and get a key to get into his mine. And this dude is going to give us the quest we need or something. I think we have to go to a map, go to this area over here for a map to get to the right place. I don't know. The story is hit or miss on how much of it makes sense.
We're speedrunners. We don't care about the story. We go fast.
So I took a slight detour to activate a new U station, which is the respawn point for a very specific point. I'm going to turn in the quest here, and then grenade jump up to the top. And then I'm going to shoot this barrel, which is going to kill me, which is honestly surprising considering our level. And just death warp over there, because it's right next to the area travel to where we need to go next. So saves a lot of driving, saves some save quitting. So really neat death warp that I think Desette found.
It was either me or BGM. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember.
Okay. So this area coming up is just one big map that doesn't have anything interesting going on. We just have to run through it to get to the next area. So it's a perfect time. We have our next SDU. So we have our sniper already equipped because I used Merchant of Death with it. So it went into my backpack. So I have it equipped, and now I have 1,000% extra crit damage. But other than that, it's just running through this area. So a perfect time for 2 or 3 donations.
I can do that. $25 from Jenna. Hi, GDQ. A few months ago, I had a cancer scare with a tumor that thankfully turned out to be benign. Because of that, I've become more passionate about PCF's mission that everyone should have access to prevention and testing resources. During the testing, removal, and recovery, I played a lot of Borderlands to take my mind off things, so I had to donate during the run here. Let's go fast and work to prevent cancer. Thank you, Jenna, for your donation, and happy to hear the good news. We've got $50 from Razzlegod. It's my favorite time of the year again. Let's go!
All right, so we're now in Sludge's safe house, which is next area. There's a mini boss in the area, but it's an interesting area with a lot of tight corridors. Going back to Borderlands 2 in a sense, it's almost like the Bloodshot Ramparts, where it's almost like flying a jet bridge down a hallway or something. Especially when you're in phase walk. Whenever you're just walking, it's not as much, but a lot of tight corridors and a lot of tight turns. So we're gonna run through here. There's a mini boss at the end that we need to get to. We have to wait for this door to open. There's an invisible trigger that's not really listed over here for this door to open. So we have to wait for it to open, and then we can go through the rest of the area. It's just a matter of navigating with your phase walk, and it's going pretty well actually. Oh, and then I bonk as soon as I say that.
You had to say something, yeah?
Yeah.
One of the pretty nice things about Lilith phase walking is that you can't actually jump during it, except for obviously phase jumping out of it. And because of that, Lilith really likes to try to stick to the ground. So it's comparatively a little bit more difficult to get air while you're phase walking. So you can maintain speed a lot better and maintain control.
Yeah, so that was the mini boss, the Roid Rage Psycho. He let us get the key. Where's the fast travel? There we are. He was able to let us get the keys so that we can go to Sledge, who is the next big boss we're going to immediately here. So Sledge.
Right here, ZZ's doing a little trick, little abuse. We don't actually have access to the fast travel network at this point in the game. However, the only way to get to DLCs is by fast traveling there. And so ZZ's going to abuse that by fast traveling to a DLC. And then, since you don't have access to the fast travel network, but the game still wants you to be able to get back to the base game, the first area, Firestone, is the only fast travel listed. So rather than area traveling out and running back to Firestone, you will just fast travel there.
Yeah, just like we did in Sky Gully after Nine Toes. Do the same thing here, and we're just going to drive straight to Sledge. Again, this is another massive jump in levels. They really want you to do side quests to get your level up. Sledge is going to be, we're actually going to be under leveled for Sledge, believe it or not. He's level 19 and we're going to be level 18. So it'll be a little interesting. So there's a gate here that's stopping us that we're not supposed to be able to get over, but if we do a neat little nade jump, we can get over it before it actually opens. Nifty, I think Jolts2 found that one. Saves a little bit of time. So we're going to phase walk over here, get our level up, and just stack up on gears. So I am actually buying a new shield because we really need one for Sledge, and then speccing into a little bit of extra fire rate. And then coming up here is actually one of the handful of true skips that we have in Borderlands 1. You're supposed to go through this entire area, Headstone Mine. You have to go in like a big circle to get into Sledge's arena. But instead, we're going to do a couple of little parkour and a couple of nade jumps and just go directly into Sledge's arena. So I'm going to grenade jump onto this truck. And then on this truck, throw a grenade and get onto this rock. Do a little parkour and go through this window. And we're in Sledge's arena. We're not supposed to go this way, but where is it? There we but we can open the lever to open the gate that we're already behind. That's not an easy skip, so I'm surprised that I got it first try. So this is Sledge. Very difficult boss, so I'm going to see how it goes. So right now I'm abusing one of the first skills we spec'd into, Silent Resolve, which gives damage reduction on exiting phase walk. So I can just face tank a lot of his attacks because of the damage reduction.
Another distinctly difficult fight because Sledge just hits really hard. That's like his thing.
Good Sledges. Okay. But that went really well. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we have the first vault key fragment. The whole point of this is we're trying to get a key together to open the vault with treasures, and Sledge had the first key. So we killed him, we got the first fragment, and we're on our way. So the other massively important thing that happened is Sledge dropped his shotgun that he uses, Sledge's shotgun. This is our weapon for the rest of the game. It's a guaranteed drop from him. It's a Jacob shotgun, I think, in this game, that has 0 accuracy on the card. Quite literally, not an exaggeration. Its accuracy is 0. To compensate for that, it has really high damage, which means if you're right in the face of an enemy, you're going to do a lot of damage to them. It fires in a 2-shot burst, and then the pellets have a chance to knock enemies back that are hit by it. So all of those things just make it a really strong weapon for us to use for the rest of the game. So we have a quick little driving section. We just have to drive to the end of the map. So perfect time for a donation or two.
At $50 from Arrow, I'm always excited for a GDQ. Looking forward to this week of speedruns. Good luck to all of the runners, and thanks to all of the staff. $50 from Deadlock Trap. Thank you for all that you do, GDQ, and Prevent Cancer Foundation.
Everyone is talking about it.
And $250 from Ty. Much love to all. Grateful to be able to support this wonderful cause.
I think we have time for one more.
I can do that. $50 from Failboatin. Hey, GDQ, keep being awesome and going fast. We'll do that.
All right, I just had enough money for that. So this game's a little unique in that your storage depth upgrades, your max ammo count, you can buy from a vendor. They brought back in Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands, but before then it was unique to this game. So we just bought extra shotgun max ammo and then extra grenade max ammo. So now I have 6 grenades that I can use to grenade jump, and then I think 140 shotgun pellets to use, which is going to be plenty for the rest of the run. I have $200 now though, so hopefully I don't need money soon.
Yeah, the one downside with the Merchant of Death glitch is that ZZ can no longer sell anything for money. So the only money that we get during this run is at the very start, before actually setting up this glitch. So yeah, hopefully you don't need money.
Yeah, you get money from completing quests. You can pick up money. So there's ways of getting money. I'm not going to be completely broke from the rest of the run, but I'm going to be very broke for a good chunk of it. So this is that a sniper now? This is another standard Borderlands thing. So you can sort of see how strong Sledges is. Even if I'm not right in an enemy's face, I'm still doing a lot of damage with this, especially with all of the extra crit damage that I have merged. This is just, there's going to be a lot of sections where we just have to kill a bunch of enemies, just mobbing sections. So here we have to... Hello? Here we have to kill 12 in the first area, and then 12 usually opens this gate. There we are. Where we can kill the last couple. This badass spawns, we didn't really mention them. Every enemy has a chance of spawning as a badass enemy, which has increased health, does increase damage, and it drops extra experience whenever you do it. So can be good, can be bad. But doing the mobbing section, we can free Lucky from his cell, and we have to turn on the power. Seems to be a common trend, but there's no chance that we're gonna run into again later. So we have to flip a couple breakers. Flip a couple breakers to power his little prison. or something. I don't know. Do they give much backstory on Lucky?
He's not in the game for long.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not there for long.
So.
I know Scooter mentions him in BL2, but like that's it.
Oh.
And in T-Bot or Nox DLC as well in this game. But it's like a passing remark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he pretty much just exists to progress the story for us. So we flip the breakers, and then we just have to flip the master switch to turn on the power. And then coming up is actually going to be an incredibly difficult part. Initially, this game was kind of, I want to say, built or conceptualized as like a Mad Max style game with a lot of cars and a lot of car combat. And I think this was one of the first areas that they built around that combat. And then they realized how it played and then turned it into a looter shooter instead. So the remnants are still there of the Mad Max car combat, and we just have to kill 8 cars, which is kind of difficult because we're technically overleveled, which is good, but the cars still do a lot of damage. And you'll see why we've been using the rocket launcher car for this entire time, as opposed to swapping out to a different car. It just does a lot of damage. So anytime we have to do any car combat, this is just going to be the best one. And I'm going out of my way to shoot these blue cars in particular. They're much easier to kill and generally do less damage. Not to say that they do little damage. This can still do a lot of damage. So that a good segment for this is not having my car die. If it dies, it's not the end of the world. We can save quit and just go again, but we'll see. And he's just driving around in circles. I'm going to try and play
One of the degrees of difficulty with this is your car doesn't regen health that fast in this game. The delay is very long, and the regen rate isn't very high, as you can see right now, actually. It's not really moving that much. And when cars deplete a quarter of your health very quickly, it kind of doesn't mean much, so it's very easy to die. So
that went really well.
Nice job there. Yeah, that went really well.
That went really well. Okay, so all this is to build up to the next boss that we have to take care of, Mad Mel, in the car combat area, the car boss. So he's a very difficult boss as well. We're starting to get into the areas where we're going to run into some difficulty. It's not a cakewalk like it is in some of the other areas. So this is a difficult area. However, for this one, it's actually not as optimal to use the car to kill him. It's more optimal just to use Sledge's shotgun. So we're bringing a gun to a car fight, so to say. So we're going to drive to his arena. I hit this new use station just in case, because it is very, very easy to die in here. So get halfway into the arena and it hits a trigger that closes the gate. We have to kill 2 outrunners before Mad Mel spawns. And you can sort of see the difference between the red cars and the blue cars. The blue cars kind of died fairly easily, and these red cars are taking a bit. There's one.
I'm really glad they didn't go the route for like car combat in this game, because it's very finicky.
Yes.
Although the car driving in this game is, I think it's better than BL2 in some respects.
Yeah, it's better and worse at the same time. So this is Mad Mel. Oh, interesting. Oh, he's stuck. That's good. Perfect.
Ow.
That
was really lucky.
I was really lucky. Okay, so that's a difficult boss, especially because the cars, I don't think I've actually done it yet to an enemy, but if you run over an enemy with a car, they die instantly. Same happens for enemies. So if an enemy car runs over you, then you just explode and just get sent straight to the new use station. So I was lucky I didn't get run over, and I was lucky that he got stuck, that I could just run up to him and shove Sledges in his face.
I'd argue that's actually the hardest boss in the game. I feel like that one's harder than Sledge. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The insta-kill that cars can just thrust upon you is not very fun, so...
I'd say Sledge, out of we joke that there's, the game is mobbing movement, and 4 bosses. And out of those 4 bosses, I want to say Sludge is the easiest of the 4, personally at least.
I used to think the Rack Hive was pretty difficult, but that's because it has like 0 of its hitboxes crit. So
yeah, its crits explode if you hit enough crits.
Yeah, I'm torn between which one's actually the hardest. But here we're in New Haven. This is the hub city of the game, where all of the residents kind of stay. Helen appears the mayor. And what do you know? New Haven doesn't have any power, so we have to turn the power back on. Shocker.
It's really difficult for the NPCs in this game to flip
switches,
so we have to do it for them.
Yeah, so were they just like living without power until we show up?
Honestly, probably.
I never understood that.
I'm telling you, they had so much trouble pressing buttons.
I can't walk across the town and
I know.
turn on these.
And like they know where all the switches are because they tell us. They just don't want to go up and do it themselves.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, a little annoying. But we turn on the power, we appease Helen appears, and then she gives us the clearance to leave. This is a route that Jolt's dude found. Normally we would take a car and just drive all the way over here because, you have a car, it's fast. But Phase Walk works perfectly to just be a lot faster. And it gives us a chance to get Merchant of Death at an upcoming vendor too. So it's a really neat line, and just the perfect duration of Phase Walk is really, really helpful. So here we have another driving section. We're gonna meet Tanis, Radian researcher who's been prominent in all of the Borderlands games. After this one, we're gonna meet her. She's helping us get into the vault and sort of figure everything out about that. And it's a really big driving section. The only thing to note is we're gonna hit a fast travel station early. Here we are. There. So that's what happens whenever you run over an enemy with a car. They just squish. So we're gonna hit a fast travel station early because we're gonna use it a lot throughout the course of the run. But other than that, just a whole bunch of driving, so perfect time for more donations.
A lot of them are coming in. Someone in chat mentioned something. We're $15,000 away from hitting 100K here on the first day. So a $5 donation train could get us there, chat. I know you could. We've got a lot of donations coming in. $100 from Bars. I'm obligated to proceed with haste. Thank you. I agree. I think we all are. And $500 from CL4PTO, who says, I'm starting to think Dr. Zed isn't a real doctor.
What? Could have fooled me. Well, thank you, Contrap. So here's the path to Tanis. We're going to be doing this a lot. Every time we get a vault key fragment, we get to go to Tanis and give it to her. So we're supposed to go all the way around, but that's slow. So we do a couple grenade jumps, and then one phase walk takes us directly to her to meet her and turn around. So where this comes in the story or how it's introduced in the story, I'm not entirely sure. But next we're going to meet an NPC that gets used later on more in the series, Crazy Earl. He's used a little bit later for your storage upgrades. Instead of them being in vendors, he has his own shop and his own currency that you trade for him. What he's doing in this game, I'm not entirely sure, but we need to meet him and do some fun mobbing for him. This is going to be a section of, what is it? I think we have to kill 52 enemies just for the missions in 2 different sections. So it's a fun mobbing section. But first we have to drive to him. We're going to take a little bit of a detour. We're not supposed to. This isn't the most direct way to get to Earl. If you look on the minimap to my right, you can sort of see a more defined pathway that has a car station and vendors and all this stuff. We're actually taking a back roads path because if we go to our right here, we discover the outer yard, which is a really important fast travel for us to use a little bit later. So go out of our way right now while still going to our destination to save a little bit of time later. So Crazy Earl Scrapyard. We're going to enter and we're going to save quit immediately. For 2 reasons. One, we're going to refresh our action skill. And 2, it's going to let us get another Merchant of Death glitch. So keeping up with our XP. The XP route is actually lines up so perfectly in so many different areas that I really love how it ended up working out. So 20,000 more XP and we're going to phase walk over to him. One thing that we didn't really mention about phase walk is there's a bit of an explosion that happens whenever you enter and exit, and that explosion can clear the path to Earl. So really convenient there. So we have our 4th inventory slot right now, but unfortunately I still only have 2 snipers. Now that I think of it, I didn't actually look in the vendor in in Lucky's, so I didn't really look for a new sniper. I don't think I had the money to buy one anyway. But,
Yeah, I'd be surprised if you had the money. You might now, but
yeah, it's just a matter of trying to find it. So I think we're going to be looting a lot of chests to try and find one from a chest, or any vendors that I can find coming up soon. So this entire area is just run around. The number of enemies that spawn is set, but where they spawn and when they spawn and what spawns is random. So it's just a matter of adapting to what's where, and whenever an enemy's a badass that you have to worry about and prioritize. That's going to be in the good. Oh, we're good. Yeah, so we have that badass psycho right there. That's going to hurt. And then perfect level up right there, actually. One thing that we didn't mention about level ups, aside from giving your action skill, is you get damage bonus for about 30 seconds after your level up. So it's routed a whole bunch in other games in the series, especially in the early game, that you have a boss that you just shred because you have extra damage from the level up. But we don't really use that all that much routed in here. But it helps in the times that we do get it. So we just need a couple of enemies left. I try to use the barrels to help kill, to give it an explosion that deals an area of effect, which is really helpful. But I'm going to intentionally keep these barrels alive because I'm going to try for a death warp. Now that I finished, I'm going to actually take my shield off just to make sure I die from it. So this death warp's accomplishing 2 things, actually. For one, it's making it so that we teleport to the start so we can turn into Earl immediately. But the other one is a nifty little feature of Borderlands 1 in both versions, is whenever you enter the game from the main menu, you cannot exit the game in the first 30 seconds. If you try to save quit in those first 30 seconds, it'll say unsaved progress will be lost if you quit. Are you sure you want to quit? So if I can do it right now. You cannot save your progress at this time. It'll be like that for the first 30 seconds. So if we were to save quit, it's so quick to get to Earl that we'd be sitting for 10 seconds just waiting for that 30-second timer to happen so that we can save quit again. So that death warp cuts that out entirely, which is really, really nice. So here's where we got the outer yard travel. We need to get some booze for Earl. He's a little parched. So we need to collect some booze for him. And luckily the area where the booze is right across from the outer yard. So really helpful that we got that ahead of time. So we're going to head to Treacherous Landing, and these bottles of booze are held by the enemies in the area, so we get to do a lot more mobbing to get these bottles of booze. So, of course, this is a badass. So every enemy is going to drop one of those.
Badass.
Yeah, it was a badass.
It was.
Past tense was. Every enemy is going to drop these bottles of booze. So we need to go around, find these enemies, kill them, pick up the booze. Hello? Okay, we know where that.
BL1 is a game that's a very huge fan of, like, the enemies drop something, and you have to go pick it up. One of the biggest places for that is the Dr. Ned DLC, where every enemy like drops a brain. You got to go around and pick that up. So
The best fetch quest in the game.
There's also one of those in Claptrap DLC.
yeah,
You just got to pick up components.
Yeah, so we try to do our
Really,
best to like aggro enemies so that they run towards us instead of having to go out of our way to get them. It's hit or miss. Yeah, it's a big area. We're just going to be killing enemies as best we can, so perfect time for another dungeon too.
Covered. We've got a haiku from an anonymous donator who donates $50 to say, GDQ is back. You all know what that means, right? Donation haikus. Okay, I guess that's what they want to hear, chat. So send those in. We can get our way towards the 100K cutoff coming up. We got a $100 anonymous donation, which says, great event, great cause, GG, GDQ. And $250 from Zilta. Let's go, AGDQ. We got a $15 donation from Malibu Jukebox. AGDQ is the best way to start the year. Good luck to all the runners. Heart emoji. Thank you so much, Malibu Jukebox.
You found an explosive weapon. Shots fired from these weapons have a
Yes, so that's one. There we are. Okay, so that's 24. It's rough routing it because, again, just like the previous area, the location of enemies and where they spawn and what spawns is random. So it's kind of rough trying to get a consistent path through it, but we make it work. So if we were to try, so the point in the story we're at right now, we need to turn back into Earl and give him his booze. He's going to stay parched for a little longer because if we were to do that, then we're going to run into the same issue that I mentioned earlier, in that we're going to turn in and we're going to have to wait for the 30-second timer before we can actually save quit again and move on. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to go to a future part of the game before we're really supposed to, and I needed to rebind. So the next boss that we're going to run into is Crom. So we're going to travel to Crom's Canyon so that once we get the objective, we can just fast travel there immediately. To get there, we're going to have a really fun car movement section. Just if you want to explain.
So boosting in this game works a little weird. It instantly gives you a boost of speed. And so what ZZ just did there was actually binding the boost button to scroll wheel down. And if you repeatedly use this input, you get a floaty car. So you can use that to just kind of cross gaps that you're really not supposed to. So right there, we got our car over the wall to then hit the button instead of walking around like normal, because walking is boring. So
I walk when you can just fly your car.
Exactly. When you could just have floaty car.
Yeah, there are a couple places that you could use this. I only use it in 2 places, one right there and then one a little bit later. Oh. This section hurts. There's a lot of rockets to try to kill you. So phase walk really helps get around that. Kind of scary. So we have Crom's Canyon and we're going to travel back to Earl's Scrapyard. And this is where I love the routing for this. I still have a Merchant of Death that I can use. So now that I'm in Earl's Scrapyard, I can Merchant of Death to get my action skill back so that I can phase walk back to Earl. I love how the routing ended up working for that in terms of where our XP is.
Very elegant. It all works out really nicely.
Yep. In all the future games, they locked the ability to go to future areas until you get the side quest or main quest that allows you to do that. But in this game, they don't do that. So there will be a couple times where we go get a fast travel early, which is really nice.
Yep. There are a lot of them that you can route in. I only use 2 of them, but there are times that we'd be waiting for a travel anyway. So we turn to Earl. We get Merchant of Death again. So I'm checking actually I need ammo too. So I'm checking the grenade mods that are in the vendors. I'm looking for a Bouncing Betty. It's a really, really strong grenade mod. It spawns 12 extra sub grenades horizontally, and they can do critical hit damage. Imagine with how much critical hit we have, that is really, really good. So I'm looking for one. We're going to use it in a couple spots. If I had a level, you can spawn at level 16 or level 25. If I had one at 16, I'd use one for Crom, but unfortunately I don't have any right now. So I'm going to keep my eye out for that because we're going to need it in one area in particular. That we'll get to whenever we get there. So here we just have a big map that we have to run through to get to Crom. So perfect time for 2 donations.
Do that for you. We've got $50 from Not George. Longtime viewer, first-time donator. Keep doing awesome things as quickly as possible. Thank you so much for your donation. And we've got a $5 anonymous donation. Hi, longtime watcher, first-time donating here. I've always been impressed by what the runners are able to pull off during their runs, and it's always something I look forward to each year. Keep up the fight against cancer. Greetings from Germany.
All right, I think time for one more. We're going to do a nade jump to get a little bit closer to Crom, but other than that, just a Matt dash to get to him. So one more quick donation.
Sure. We got a $250 donation from Hey Look It's Rob. Last year at this time, my father was diagnosed with bladder cancer. Thanks to early detection, we learned 4 days ago that his cancer is in remission. Thanks to everyone donating and everyone at PCF. Thank you, Rob.
So that was Crom. If we had a bouncing Betty, it would be much faster, which is fine. It was still really fast. Even though you saw the little icon, we're technically under level. I'm actually going to check this. Nope, no sniper, but I'll take...
I'm always watching you, friend.
Sure, I'll take a new shield. Still really fast, even though we're under leveled, so we get damage reduction applied to us. Sort of like what Emerald mentioned a little earlier in Borderlands 2, but not enough that it's gonna affect us in killing Crom really quickly or anything. So we're able to save quit and travel back. We got a vault key piece. Crom had one of the second one, so now we can travel back and give it to Tanis. Still nothing yet. Travel back, give it to Tanis, and one more donation while we make our way to Tanis.
Got $50 from Moose. Did I hear $5 train? This is $5 from me and a little extra for those that can't currently donate. Also want to dedicate this donation to my grandma. She's currently undergoing chemotherapy. Thanks to all the runners and staff for making this event possible. Thank you, Moose. We're only $12,000 away from hitting 100K.
Nice. I think we have one more. I misjudged that a little.
Yeah, we've got a $250 donation from Zarad and Nasser. Great start to GDQ. Hype early, hype fast, and never stop.
All right. So we gave the vault key piece to Tanis, and we're actually going to get to the point where we're going to do our next floaty car jump. I didn't rebind yet. I forgot to. I'm going to do it in a little bit. Actually, I'm not going to do that there. So we're going to travel back to the outer yard. And this is going to put us much closer to where we need to be for the next section. So really exemplifying why we went out of our way to get that. What is this, the third time that we've gone there?
It's very
Second,
useful.
It's a really useful one. So I'm going to rebind to scroll right there. And we have this bridge that we can't cross over right now. We have to talk to Claptrap, and he's going to open the bridge for us, but he doesn't do it very quickly. So instead, we are going to just boost right at this bridge and fly over it.
I love that so much.
It's really nice, and we actually got an achievement for doing it. That's not the only way of getting around that. There's a really awkward grenade jump that you can do. You have to like ricochet it off of two different... There's our bouncing Betty.
Nice.
Perfect. So I'm going to unequip that so I don't kill myself with it. So that's going to be used closer to the end of the run, and it is very, very strong. And we'll see once we end up having to use it. So we have like a subplot sort of thing. We just met Taylor Cobb. His brother's the mayor, question mark, of a town that's right outside of where we just passed it on our way to him. Of his brother's Janus Cobb, and he's the mayor of Janus Town, and he wants to take it over. So we're gonna kind of aid and abet him. This is another area where we actually have a God, all the vendors are talking over each other. I don't know. Okay. This is another section where if we're too fast, then it's within the 30 seconds that we have to wait before we can save quit. He's not a difficult boss. I'm not even merging all my snipers, just the Silent Knight, because that's really all we need. So this is Janus Cobb. If I can get a crit. There we are. So not a difficult boss at all. But if you can kill him in one shot, if you line it up right, and if you do so, then you have to wait for your 30-second timer, which, funny enough, we have a 30-second timer if we're going to turn into Taylor Cobb right now. So instead of going directly to him, and this is a really bad 30-second timer, it only takes 20 seconds to turn him in, so you're sitting waiting, doing nothing for 10 seconds. So instead, we're going to go to another future area. Here we're going to go to Old Haven, sort of throwing shade at like the New York, the New Hampshire, the New Mexico of like, oh, what happened to the Old York and Old Hampshire and Old Mexico? Well, here's Old Haven to go along with New Haven. So we're just going to get the Old Haven travel a little early, and then we're just traveling right back to where we came from so that we can do the turn-in. So time for one quick donation, maybe?
We've got $50 from Toast Deeb. The prize wizard convinced me to get a donation in before the end of the Borderlands run. So here's $50 for the cause, likely the first of several over the course of this week. We have a lot of great prizes that are expiring at the end of this run. So if you want to get the Wampa Fruit Scented Candle, the Borderlands dice set, the Zelda Master Sword enamel pin, get your donations in now on the road to 100K.
I mean, I'm partial to the Borderlands dice, but
oh, for sure. They're nice.
It might be a little biased from my part.
The desk light looks super cool.
The desk light's really cool too. So at this point, we technically don't have a story mission going on right now. We have sort of this like side thing that we have to do, find this dude in a New Haven and find something for him. It's kind of more or less just to signify that time has passed more than anything. Because once we turn in these quests, and if I can get a good phase jump, not bad. So we find this container that they get for Mr. Frank's save quit, and Helena Pierce is going to tell us, oh, you know that guy that you helped aid in a bet? Well, he kind of took over the city that you were in before. So yeah, he's kind of turning into a problem, so help us out. So we're going to go back to Janus Town and save it from Taylor Cobb this time instead of Janus Cobb. So merging already beforehand. So we're going to go to the cauldron.
I'd be, we talked earlier about the story like not really meaning much. I'd be kind of curious as to if there's like any breakdowns of like how they switched writing styles, because the Borderlands 1 story is very dark and gritty.
And Borderlands 1 in general is just very dark and gritty.
Yeah. There's a lot like, you help this bad person and now you have to fix it by, going and killing them. And
there we are. So.
And then Borderlands 2 is like fart jokes.
I mean, it happens. But yeah, so we saved the town from Taylor Cobb, and now we have actually the most recent discovery for this game. I want to say a week ago.
Wonderful.
Unjust probably has a better idea, or
I'll contact you.
Unjust might have a better idea because I have no sense of time. I think Mentality came up with this. There's almost zero. Borderlands as a series has a lot of out of bounds in it, but that's very absent in Borderlands 1. But Mentality found this out of bounds coming up, which is I think one of the very few in Borderlands 1. And it was
around 2 weeks ago.
It was around 2 weeks ago. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Very new. You got this.
Yeah. And then it's an out of bounds that goes into arguably one of the more difficult. I'd say he's a little bit more difficult than Mad Mel.
I still think Mad Mel's harder. I just have a personal vendetta against Mad Mel, honestly.
Fair.
I get run over too often.
Fair. All right, so we're going to do a grenade jump immediately out of here and get onto these rocks. And then this train's a little wonky, so I think if I throw this the right way... not quite.
I haven't actually seen this yet, so...
Yeah. Right, perfect. So we get on here, and then we jump on top of an invincible wall here. And now we're on top of the map. So if you look at the mini-map, we're supposed to go in a big circle to get all the way to the arena at the end. But this just takes us directly to the arena.
That's really cool.
That is pretty tight.
Yeah, and that went really well, actually.
That was really good.
I'm a little low on XP than I have been previously, so I don't have a chance of getting a level up bonus, which is a little unfortunate, but oh well. So we're in the arena. We take some fall damage, which we haven't really mentioned, but this game is the only game in the series that has fall damage. Comes in play at the very end of the run. we have a strat to sort of mitigate that, but it's not too much of a difficulty. I don't know. So this is Rack Hive, and Rack Hive, spoiler alert, is holding the third vault key piece. So we have to kill him. He is a massive bullet sponge. No better way to put it. He is just a bullet sponge.
I mentioned it earlier, but I think this is my least favorite boss in this game, and also what I consider like one of the hardest. His crit spots are like the underside of his mouth and then his eyes. This is also the guy that BL1 original XP farms on, so I got real tired of seeing it.
He gives a ton of XP.
Yeah.
So this,
very nice to you.
yeah.
Yeah, very nice. A little too nice, actually.
See, that's why I wasn't going to say anything.
Well,
And then someone decided
we
to
had
say
to say something. You know.
Yeah.
So, action skill there just to mark my damage resistance. I think we're in
And
the
you can
clear.
see he destroys crit spots if you do too much
in the
damage.
clear.
So near the end of the fight, your damage starts to fall off a little bit, but that went pretty well.
That was really good, actually.
Yep, I'm a little worried.
I'd say
There's still rack.
Rack? Yeah.
There's still rack, and they're right here, and they can knock me off, which has happened in my practice, which I'm terrified of right now. Yep, there they are. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. So we pick up the last vault key piece, and now we're actually good to death warp.
And we just fought a boss who's 2 stories tall, but the rack is the scary part.
Yeah, no, the rack is the hard part of that fight, not Rack Hive. Rack Hive can stomp, but you can dodge it just by jumping.
I did
the
not
rack,
jump. Whoops.
you know,
So
they hurt.
That went pretty well. So we got a vault key piece, and as per standard, we get to go back to Tanis to give it to her to figure out what to do now that we have all 3 of them. And because we death warped there, one, again, like we mentioned before, it saves the 3-second save dialogue, and then it also saves the blue tunnel from having to spawn in from the main menu. And because we preserve the old route, you have to use all of your grenades just to get to the end as fast as possible. But because we did that out of bounds, we can't really throw our grenades outside of the initial one, so we keep grenades over here, so we don't have to go to the vendor just to pick up grenades to get to Tanis, which is really nice in terms of the routing part. So we turn into Tanis, and she says, I need to do research, but I need my claptrap unit. So we're going to go rescue her claptrap unit, or something like that. It's my headcanon that that's what she says, at least. So we got it's in Old Haven. We're going to go to Old Haven to get to save her claptrap unit. So I have a kind of a particular setup that I go for here, just in terms of the route for it. So let me get all my ammo and stuff. I do 2 grenade jumps at the start. At this point in the game, we're kind of running into the part of enemies are starting to get really difficult, and they start to really hurt. And at the same time, Sludges starts to fall off a tad. So a lot of the routing around Phase Walk is just keeping us out of the line of sight of enemies. So I save my Phase Walk there so that the Crimson Engineers over there don't attack me, so that I'm as safe as possible. So we free the Claptrap. And you can sort of see how fast, I leveled up, so you don't really see anything. If I didn't level up there, you'd see how fast my health would go down from getting shot by those turrets over there. So
It's one of the many things that makes Lilith as powerful as she is for the speedrun.
yeah, just being able to...
It helps a ton in late game.
Yeah, you're invulnerable for X amount of time. Very, very valuable.
And then you also have damage reduction after being invulnerable. So she's just super powerful for late game when a lot of it is actually just running. Not really much combat.
Yep. We actually debated for... There's co-op speedrun. Borderlands is very well known for co-op speedruns. I happen to run with 2 of the people in this call in other games in the series. But we've like half debated of, for co-op, do we have, for the original version at least, where a different character's faster, would it be worth it to have a Lilith to be just a run here with all the damage reduction sort of thing? I don't think so, but it's definitely worth a debate and worth a thought experiment. So whenever we first got to first car, really good. Whenever we first got to Old Haven, Helena Pierce mentioned something about Baron Flint has a contraption in Assault Flats that she wants to protect her citizens from. Second car, ooh, really good. She wants to protect her citizens from. This is said contraption, and this is Baron Flint that we're gonna take on in a little bit once we clear out some of these cars around here. There are 4 spots that the cars can spawn, and it is completely random which order they spawn in. I got the 2 ones in front first, which is really good RNG. And I want to say this was back left. Maybe it was the back right one.
One thing that's really nice about this game compared to the original is you have a mini map. So instead of just using the tiny compass at the bottom of the screen to try and figure out where these cars are, you can just look at the mini map, which is actually super convenient and really nice, especially for this with RNG spawns and just kind of like hoping you run into them as you drive around.
Super convenient, being that was the perfect spawning pattern that we can get.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a super
you went in a
convenient.
perfect circle. That was good.
So Baron Flint is the next boss coming up. The Flint family has been very prominently featured in the entire series. Just you ran it down in our tech check of like how many of the Flint brothers there are.
Yeah, you got Baron Flint in this game, and then Captain Flint in BL2. And then Zane in Borderlands 3 is also a Flint brother.
There's another brother, Wham Dam DLC as a fourth Flint brother.
That's Captain Flint's son, Sparky
Son.
Flint. So
But, even more of the Flint family. This is gonna be a fun kill. Actually, Amerlin did a podcast. One of the games list was released, and this was the strat that he featured as a notable strat in here. We mentioned right whenever we got sludges that enemies that are hit with the bullets can take knockback. And this entire area is actually surrounded by death planes. So we're gonna try and get in a good spot. Oh, it's in a bad spot. There we are. We're just gonna shoot Baron and launch him off. He hits the death plane. He hits the death plane. We don't get the XP from it, but it doesn't matter when we can get 20,000 XP on a whim. So. Really, really fast kill and really fun to look at. And I'm really glad that I hit it because it's like 50-50 whether I actually get it or not.
Yeah, it was really good.
Unironically, one of the funnier boss kills in the game, just because Sledges is so dumb.
In this series, I'd say.
Yeah.
So ironically, we go from one of the one of the easiest and funniest bosses to one of the big 3 difficult bosses coming up. So it's going to be a little bit of driving, so perfect time for 2 donations or so.
We got a lot coming in. That $5 hype train at 105.55 came in fast. $5 from Five Guy. I'm just a Five Guy doing my part. Thanks for all you do. Thank you so much, Five Guy. $20 from Ashio. Let's go fast. Love the Borderlands franchise, and those dice look tasty. GDQ does not recommend eating the dice, but thank you,
I don't
Ashio.
recommend eating the dice.
Yeah. Legally, we can't do that.
So one more quick donation.
Sure. $50 from SkipPad. I've got to donate during the Borderlands run. So many great memories playing this game with my son when it first came out, and now getting to watch the run with him. Thanks, PCF, and thanks, AGDQ.
So we've been doing this a little bit throughout the run, but haven't really mentioned it because it hasn't saved too much time. If you get stuck somewhere, the game is really helpful, and it gives you an extra jump to kind of help you get unstuck. And it does that throughout the entire series. However, it's really prominent in this game. Oh, I'm really behind on XP. This will be fine. It's really prominent in this game because you get it really quickly. So you can sort of just climb some certain walls to get above them because you just get your jump so quickly back afterwards. So we climb that there just to take a more direct path. And this is McLeod.
We love McLeod.
Indeed.
McLeod's a difficult boss. He uses an Iridian weapon, which we haven't mentioned. It hasn't been mentioned at all, but this will be fun, being underleveled.
Oh, yeah, you're really not good on HP.
Yeah.
You got a
Yeah,
wedge.
Got him in a corner, though. That's useful.
Yeah,
You
that's
should be good.
actually, I might be good. You might be able to get up off of it because of that.
Yeah, so he has an Iridian gun, which is just
No, you get away.
that's unfortunate.
Dang.
So So he has like an Iridium gun, and that does like a lot of damage to you, especially because he's like very high level. And
what's really helpful is his health doesn't reset. So he's actually 1 health right now, if I can track him down.
yeah,
Oh,
he's quite difficult in the original game. Well, that's unfortunate.
Oh,
Really unfortunate.
You got like same framed or something?
I got a same frame through a level up, though. That was something,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Skill issue.
obviously.
Yeah,
Whatever,
that's
that's
quite
fine.
difficult in the original, just because you don't have the merging glitch, so you don't have the crit. So we do a separate glitch where you like throw a grenade, and then you can actually swap to a different grenade to change the element of your current grenade, and that'll do a bit more damage to him. And we'll use that glitch a little bit later, will we? You have an explosive
No,
pad,
we
don't
will
you?
not.
We don't.
Yeah, no.
So we just took care of McLeod, and we actually get to the part of the game where combat is irrelevant, aside from like the final boss. So I'm respecking, and I haven't gone too much into detail on what my build is, because honestly, it's not too relevant. Aside from the extra duration and the damage resistance, which is the big one, everything else is just some extra damage. At this point, we spec out of that and go into... this is fine. We go into extra... Hold on, right? This is fine.
You can hit the crit.
This is fine. Yeah, I haven't done crit yet, which is whatever.
Oh,
Sir,
excuse me.
excuse me. So we go into extra... There we are.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
You were a little
That's
too
all
far away.
Whatever. We go into extra cooldown rate, so we get our action skill much sooner, and then we get health regeneration while we're in our action skill, and then a little bit of extra shield, but that's not as important as the other ones. For these parts, enemies are scary, and combat's difficult, so we just ignore all the combat. There's no required kill outside of the final boss at this point. I don't need anything there outside of the final boss here. So akin to what we ran into before is with things getting turned off. Right now the internet's turned off. We were introduced to a brand new actual main villain as the main antagonist, because sort of this entire game there hasn't really been an antagonist. We've had like some mini bosses sort of that have been temporary bad guys, but there hasn't been a true bad guy. Commandant Steele is the bad guy right now. She is the one that kidnapped Tannis and stole the vault key and is headed to the vault to try and steal the treasure from us beforehand. And to assist her, she turned off the Echo network, the internet, to just make things more difficult for us. So we have to activate 3 consoles. There are 3 different areas that have consoles that we can turn on to turn the internet back on. And there's a fun little glitch with the tracking in here. If one of y'all wants to go into depth about it.
Yeah, so
So,
there's
yeah, you go
3
ahead.
separate switches around the map. But if you activate one and then save quit, it'll like unactivate it, but the mission progress will still count. So we can just run to the closest switch 3 times in a row to activate it, which is kind of funny.
Yep. So
Also much faster.
yeah, so we go to the closest one 3 times, and in doing so, we activated all 3 switches, I promise.
This map's actually gigantic. If you've ever played this game casually and actually activated all 3 switches, they're in completely different corners of the map. So if we were to do this normally, ZZ would have to hit the switch, run back down the entire building, and then run back through pretty much where he is right now to go to the next one, and then do the same thing again, which is way slower than just save quitting and hitting the same one 3 times in a row.
Yeah, and then while I'm doing it, this is something that Mentality brought up in one of my streams. Of you can throw a second grenade way forward and boost one grenade into a second boost, and I've been addicted to just doing it for fun in this area. It technically saves time, but it's so addicting trying to get good chains and good boosts off of the second one. So we activated all 3 consoles, and we just have to go back in here to turn the internet back on, turn the Echo network back on. I guess since I mentioned Mentality, I guess now is probably a good time for community shoutouts as well, because we just have to head back to this past area. I've mentioned them all throughout the run. Jolt's a huge one. Jolt's did a segmented run of this with slowdown so that the the game's playing at 1/4 times speed, so you can do some insane tricks. And a lot of the routing from that also was added into the any percent routing, and has just been a huge proponent of the Borderlands speedrunning community, and huge props for everything he's done. Mentality, as soon as the game came out, spearheaded the campaigns of getting all these resources together, getting initial routes, routing in the Merchant of Death type stuff, and has been active in it since it launched in 2019, so huge props there. And then BGM ran this game for all of like a week and shaved like 5 minutes off of the base classic any percent route. And just, even with a macro, I'm still only like a couple minutes off of him, so he's been massive in sort of getting that to a more modern scale, I guess. So those are the big three in terms of Borderlands 1 Enhanced specifically. And then Pentalix is the Borderlands 1 original guy, who look up Borderlands 1 on YouTube and you'll see videos by him. So holy, what is happening?
Yeah. When I was getting into Borderlands running in like 2016, Pentalix was like still around and doing stuff. So he's been around forever. He's so good at it.
Yeah, and he's actually the reason there's a glitch in the original version, and he's the reason that we have that glitch. So this is there's three areas left. This is called the Iridian Promontory, but I call it the Descent because the area afterwards is called the Ascent. So if you're familiar with Borderlands 2, this is sort of Here's Pass. This is your big enemies are scary. You just blitz through them and ignore them and get to the end because killing them is scary. So we just get to the end right here. We have a nice little grenade jump that I hit, which is nice. And then we can just this doesn't look like you can run up it. You can just kind of jump over here, climb up this wall. The rocks are a little janky, but once we get past that, we're past the Descent. And we're going to grab some grenades, make sure we're all stocked up on all our stuff. And this is the Ascent, second to last area in the game. We're almost to the end. And this is just one big area. We're going to be using our phase walk as it's on cooldown. As soon as it gets back off of cooldown, we're going to be in it and just trying to run through the area. So perfect time for 2 donations or so.
That for you. $25 from Call Me Tommy. Started watching as a young teenager, and now I'm 20. First time donating and glad to support a good cause. Borderlands is one of my favorite franchises, and I'm glad to see it showcased on the first day of AGDQ. Keep it up. Save the animals. And we have
Thank you to that donator for aging me 20 years.
Right? And a $50 donation from Surreptitious Sneak. There once was a warlock named Scent. To gather the prizes he went. He convinced me to give for a flower to live. A $50 very well spent. Good luck to all the runners, and thank you for helping support such an amazing cause. Here's my daily $50 to help the cause, and thank you also for all of those using their talents and skills to donate prizes to this wonderful event. Thank you so much, getting us 8K away from 100K now.
Wow. I think we have time for one quick one. We're going to do a little parkouring with a little jump, but outside of that,
okay.
Time for one more.
We've got $200 from Arcanus. Longtime watcher, several times donating. Always love seeing these events and how they support entities like the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Good luck to all runners. Gotta go fast.
This is a finicky little climb, but I think we got it done. There we are.
Nice.
Yeah, you can use a grenade to get up there, but I like saving all 6 of my grenades for the final boss, which we are in the vault. We're at the final boss arena. And we have a bit of a cutscene. The cutscene is far longer than the fight should be. So time is going to be coming. Yeah?
I was going to say, Chad has been asking for this all run. I'm finally remembering to do it now. There's a flashing lights warning coming up.
Oh, I've been trying to... So that flashing is FPS based. So I have a keybind on my keyboard that limits my frame rate to 30 every time it comes up. And it drastically reduces it.
Yeah.
So hopefully it hasn't been as bad.
Go on.
It's coming up soon. If I do this right, this is going to be a difficult fight to get correctly. If I get it right, blink and you miss it in terms of the... So Commandant Seal activated the vault. There's no treasures. There's a monster instead. And this is the final boss. This is the Destroyer. So we're gonna see if I can get this first try. We're gonna equip our Bouncing Betty, which we've had the entirety. And if I threw these correctly, then time is gonna be coming up now.
What an
Jeez,
easy fight.
Well
Easy,
done.
man.
So part of whenever they released this and like as part of the advertising, they were like, we have a completely revamped destroyer fight, which in a way it is, because now whenever you destroy them, you have all these chests, and before there was just like a small puddle of loot. And you actually get loot for destroying the final boss and beating the game. So let's see what loot we got. Anything good? Anything good? Violence. Game just violence today.
Is that
Okay.
new?
Yeah, that's one of the
Yeah,
that's one of the
enhanced?
gearbox guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's the gearbox ones added in the enhanced edition. So the Baja's Bigger Blaster is outlined are the gearbox one. So that's one of the ones you can start with. But yeah. That is Borderlands 1 Game of the Year Enhanced Edition. 80% unrestricted. So I don't have anything else. Massive shout outs to Joseph and Unjust for just being awesome co-op partners in general, and then hopping on here to commentate, and then Emerlin as well for the inspiration in 2017. If you want to aid yourself,
Yeah.
and then hopping on commentary with about 4 hours notice. Sorry about that, but thanks for being a good sport about it and joining.
And I also want to commend ZZ. He's, obviously the other two people in this call grind a lot as well. And ZZ is a huge grinder of just all the entire Borderlands series. He's really good at the whole thing. So
Yep.
if you want to see really high level Borderlands gameplay, everybody, the other 3 people in here, ZZ, Unjust, and Decep, all run various games from the series. So if you want to see really high level gameplay, go check them out on Twitch. And yeah.
We run every Borderlands game, so if you like Borderlands, check out our streams. We run together, we run on our own. We run together by our own, if that makes any sense. But yeah, if you like Borderlands, and if you enjoyed any of this run, then there's plenty more of that on our channel. So twitch.tv/zzrules21, UnjustAction, and then Deceptics _. The underscore is important. But that's it for me. Thanks, GDQ, for having us, and looking forward to the Cuphead run now.
Yeah.
That was an incredible run from start to finish. Thank you so much for that run through Borderlands. I have actually never finished Borderlands, but now I kind of wanna and maybe learn that run. So if you're interested like I am, you can go check out the community just like they said and find out more about running Borderlands. I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing here today. We're supporting the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Every single one of your donations is going towards that. And I'm going to read a couple for you right now. We've got $50 from Cannon Swift. Yes, after 6 hours later, I'm free. I have now found my couch to donate from for GDQ. Let's keep this hype up. Also, we're here to save humans. So as an animal, go save the humans. Oh, okay, sure. I think that's good. I'm into that. $10 donation from Sen. Sing passionately. Release your inhibitions. Where is Majima? Well, Sen, Majima is tomorrow morning, and we are currently looking at around $5,000, give or take, away from the Yakuza Kiwami karaoke performance, and still just around $28,000 away from the Yakuza Kiwami Super Boss Showcase. Now, I know you can meet those, because you can meet any incentive. During that run, you met the SSX 2000 Extra Track Showcase. You're about to meet 100K as long as you keep getting those donations in. So you do that, and we're going to hit every single milestone on the way to the end of this dang thing Sunday afternoon or Saturday morning. You guys hang tight. We'll be with you in a second. After these messages, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online, powered by Twitch. I'm coming to you live from beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. It's me, Cardi B, here with you. You just saw a Borderlands 1 run that was second to none. And I read in the chat during that break that it was only 15 seconds off the world record. Only 15 seconds away. That's amazing. Folks, there is some talent on display this marathon. Talent, what I'm telling you. And folks, I think you might be the most talented at all. We're only about $6,000 away from hitting 100K. 6K to 100K. Y'all can do it. Get those donations in. We still got to get the Yakuza Kiwami karaoke performance, the Yakuza Kiwami Super Boss Showcase, the Cultic Void Flush Showcase, and there's, of course, all those wonderful prizes that you can get yourself qualified for. Speaking of your donations, I've got a couple here for you. $25 from Long Way Down. So glad that AGDQ is on again. I'm looking forward to DKC3 later. Thank you to the runners, staff, announcers, and people making this awesome event happen. Thank you, Long Way Down. We can only do it thanks to your generous donations. Earlier, I was talking to you about prizes. And speaking of prizes, I said it 3 times. I summoned him. There it is.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online. My name is Sent, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Frozen Flygon. Court, great Borderlands run, right?
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Came in 20 minutes under estimate, too. We had to run over here from the control room. It was like, oh, wow, all right,
Thanks,
it's done.
Zizi. Appreciate
Awesome.
that. We're like, okay, we got to be ready to go. Let's get to it.
Keeping the schedule, keeping the marathon on schedule, though, right? That's what speed runs are about. Coming in under estimate, beating your PBs. Now, with the Cuphead bonus game coming up next, which you all got into the marathon thanks to your very generous donations, we actually have a whole new prize block to talk about. So, if you've already gotten a $50 donation today, make sure to get in at least another $25 donation from now until the end of Dust and Elysian Tale a little bit later tonight. You're going to get entered into everything that's available right now. And if you haven't gotten a $50 donation in today, you absolutely should, because we have 3 fantastic day prizes that is going to get you entered into, as well as everything else we have running. And we have so many cool things.
Gosh.
Court, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love literally every single prize that we have right here, but you know, I'm always gonna start with our little plushy friends. You know me, y'all know. So we got a gorgeous little shaman here. You know, I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and just I love shaman's colors and energy, and just what a cute little smile. It's so adorable.
Absolutely adorable friend. A huge shout outs to Toadette X Mushina, who is the creator of the Woolulu that we really had
Oh my
fun
gosh.
with at Flame Fatales. Yep, came back, made this absolutely adorable shaman, one of a kind, handmade plushie. $20 minimum donation from now until the end of Dust. But I'm telling you, $25 is going to get into all of the cool prizes that we've got going on right now. Make sure to get that donation in. From our friends over at Retroflame, we have yet another candle. This one is Donkey Kong themed. It's banana.
I wonder what's that one gonna smell like?
I'm gonna guess it smells like an orange.
Okay.
No, it's a banana. It smells like a banana. $5 minimum donation. Thank you so much. Yet another really interesting scented candle. We also have a couple of Cuphead stickers from our friend Sinoe, a pair of lovely crochet Pokeballs from our friend Geeky Creations Crochet, and a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gear of Time from the game from Cookie Master, all for a $5 minimum donation. Court, I know you're a big fan of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. You want to expand a little bit on the Gear of Time there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the time gear is just so beautiful. It's an integral part of the story, and I think just any Pokemon Mystery Dungeon fan would immediately know what that is. It's so cute, it's so adorable, and we even have more mystery dungeon prizes as well. So if you donate $5, you can be entered into the time gear. And then you also we have our little mystery dungeon friends. So we have Wigglytuff, the owner of the guild, has a perfect apple, so Wigglytuff doesn't get mad at you. That's very important. We have Squirtle, Trico, and Pikachu here. All of your you have some starter options from the game's $15 minimum donation. Thank you to Chowboo for these adorable charms. I absolutely love them.
Yeah, thank you so much to Chowboo from Chowboo Arts for sending us those charms. And speaking of charms from our good friend Prince of Spirits, we have a lovely set of wooden Pokemon ornaments featuring a set of ghost Pokemon. I'll come over with you, Court. We've got Chandelure.
We have some Mimikyu.
We've got Zoroark. I'm glad the two on my side were Pokemon I knew.
And then I got Pumpkaboo. So it works out perfectly. Absolutely.
An excellent set of 4 ornaments.
These.
$15 minimum donation. You get them all together. Thank you so much to Prince of Spirits for sending them out to us. From Pearl Pop, we've got a bunch of really cool Pearlers for a $10 minimum donation. We've got an Umbreon over there. Now, when I talk about Pearlers, I always got to explain the kind of 2 styles of thought behind Pearler creation. You can either go for a really flat melt that looks like a solid object, or you can go for a really aerated melt where it's almost like a piece of mesh. Pearl Pop, one of the best I've seen at that flat melt. That looks...
The flat is... the shading on this
it
is
looks like
so
a
stunning.
game sprite, right?
Yeah, exactly. This could be in the game later.
It's
fantastic.
Incredible. And for a $15 minimum donation, Pearl Pop has sent us the entire Kong family from the DKC series here. Of course, we've got Donkey and Dixie as well as Kitty and Diddy over there. You get all 4 of them together, $15 minimum donation. Thank you so much to Pearl Pop for sending us out these awesome Pearlers.
I always love seeing all the different Pearlers we get during the event. There's going to be so many more as well. It's fantastic.
There are so many great ones. Now, we do have a Cuphead run coming up, and I think one of the fan favorite bosses in Cuphead is, of course, Calamaria, right? Great pun of a name, really engaging and challenging boss fight, and also apparently just really inspiring to a lot of different artists. From our friend KP Art, we have a beautiful Cuphead acrylic on canvas painting of the Calamaria fight, in 2-player even. And then for a $20 minimum donation from our friend Painting Rocks by Luz, we have a painted rock.
You pick it up and you're like, wait, this is kind of heavy. Yeah, it's a rock. It's a rock. Makes sense.
This was actually so funny to get as a submission because I saw the photo of it and I saw the odd shape and, kind of the shimmer and the finish on it. And I was like, is that painted on a rock? And then I saw the name Painting Rocks by Luz and was like, okay,
it's a rock.
That checks out. Wonderful. Absolutely incredible paintings of Calamaria. Thank you both for sending those out to us. And speaking of incredible, we have some incredible metallic prints here. From Mott, we have a set of Donkey Kong Country Returns themed metal prints, themed after one of those monochromatic levels from the game that's just so incredibly stylish here. If we want to get the Pearlers out of the way so you all at home can see just how incredible they are. They, are 3 separate prints. They come together to make a single continuous scene. They line up quite well, and they're just striking. Like, I love the red on Donkey Kong's tie and how everything else is just that deep forest green, blue, and black. It's fantastic. $25 minimum donation. Make sure to get your donations in. And the metal prints aren't even over yet because we also have this absolutely incredible Lugia and Ho-Ho metal painting from Eli Art. Like, look at this. It's so good.
And you have the Swablu in the clouds flying towards Ho-Oh and the sunset on the water. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. Like you have Lugia underwater with all the Remoraid's and in the clouds with all the Swablus following behind them. And they meet in the horizon. Like, that's just...
It's beautiful.
The composition is incredible. It lends itself so well to the medium. $25 minimum donation for both of those metallic prints. You don't want to miss out. Everyone, we have so many amazing prizes. I'm telling you, get in a $25 donation from now until the end of Dust. You're going to get entered into all of them. And of course, if you haven't gotten a $50 donation in today, do so because you could get into an amazing diamond master sword art print, not art print. It's a piece of art made up. You know what? I'm gonna stop explaining this.
You're just gonna, okay. Yeah, we just need to show everyone.
Look, I can't explain this. Like, can you explain this?
No. Lots of beads. Pretty. Sword.
50,000
all
of
we
them.
got.
Like, that's incredible. That's so amazing. Thank you so much to Lady White for sending that out to us. We also have an absolutely incredible
The Silent
Princess from Lalan from Lalan's Garden here on the middle of the table. Another incredible thing. And a handmade Splatoon skateboard as well. You don't want to miss out on any of them. And that $50, that's going to get you a quarter of the way to all three of our grand prizes. We have three great ones. We have a heroic replica from our friend Dave over at Heroic Replicas. You get a Hylian shield plus your choice of one of 14 incredible replicas like that beautiful Master Sword you see with it. We have a wonderful PC from our friends over at Skytech Gaming. You can head over to gamesdonequick.com and check out the specs of that, along with the information on all of the other prizes. And from our friends over at Cute Monster Props and Vulpin Props, we have a lovely Fallout laser rifle. It is fantastic. You gotta go look at some photos of it. You gotta go over to gamesdonequick.com if you're not already there, because it's gonna have all the information you need on the upcoming prizes that you can win by donating, on the upcoming donation incentives that you can put your donations towards. And I think we're gonna have a couple of new ones to announce pretty shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got karaoke rolling. I know that's gonna be a fan favorite. We gotta get our donations in for that.
For sure, for sure. And of course, on all the amazing speed runs coming up in the event, like that Cuphead run that you all got into the marathon with your donations. So let's not keep you any further and send it back up to the front as we get ready for Cuphead with Jason 2890.
Thank you so much for showing us all those amazing prizes, Scent and Flygon. It's so, so cool. There's so many great things that you, my friends in chat, can win. And that, folks, with you, I got to tell you, my time with you today is done. But I don't know if you knew this, but there's a whole entire week of speedruns coming right after this. I'll be back with you Tuesday. But until then, I'm leaving you in the capable hands of my favorite host, my hero and a half shell, a tea tree. They're going to be amazing, chat. And so are you. Thank you for being you. Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much to Scent and Frozen Flygon. It is always a pleasure to catch an episode of the Games Done Quick Prize Network. We had prizes that rolled, and prizes that rock, and a prize that was a rock. A little bit of everything, really. If you want to see all the prizes on offer, head on over to gamesdonequick.com and check the top left corner of your screen. If you're on mobile, you might need to hit that menu button and then check out the prizes segment for pictures of everything on offer, information about minimum donations, and of course, those grand prize donations for cumulative donations throughout the week. Thank you also very much to Cartridge Blowers, who both rocks and rolls. He is my best friend, and I hope he is yours as well. You know, they say there ain't no rest for the wicked and that money don't grow on trees, but you would not know it from looking at the rate of donations coming in support of the Prevent Cancer Foundation over this first day of Awesome Games Done Quick 2023. Thank you so much to everyone watching for your incredible support. Like Andurian, who sends in $1,000 and says, always look forward to AGDQ. Just this time, I was diagnosed in September of 22 with colon cancer. So plus ultra this year to all the runners, staff, and amazing people that make this possible. Thank you very much, Andurian, for your generosity. Plus ultra to you. And 5MNN, who sends in $50 and says, longtime viewer, first time donating. I'm a paramedic and have been dealing with cancer patients for years, but it really hit home last year when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. Thank you for the work you guys do, and good luck to all the runners. You know, this generosity is so much that it makes me want to sing. Well, Cuphead and his pal Mugman, they like to roll the dice. By chance they came on Devil's Game, and gosh, they paid the price. Paid the price. But now with Jason at the helm and Miss Chalice close in tow, he'll give this game its just desserts. 300%, let's go!